Oh, that did the trick. Don't need three, I don't think. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday service, Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Grand Traverse. My name's Dan Tholen. I'm a member of the Sunday Services Committee. And also, you'll see me out there as chairman of the Program Council currently. So those of you who are interested in committees, you'll hear more about that later. Here at UUCGT, we welcome people of every background, identity, and age. We especially extend our love to families with young children. As spiritual people, we practice the art of staying curious even when things can be a little uncomfortable. So we're building a culture of inclusion, and we welcome, as a community, this includes joyful sounds from these little people. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or joining us online, whether it's your first time or your 100th time, we're glad you're with us. If you're visiting today, we'd love to get to know you. If you're comfortable, we invite you to stand and introduce yourself. A microphone will be brought to you by Chris so everyone online can hear. And if you prefer not to speak, that's okay too. Just enjoy being with us this morning. Are there any visitors? Stand and introduce themselves. Here we get a microphone here.
Hi, my name's Sophie. This is my first time coming here. I watched this on YouTube, so I love this church and what it stands for. It's really cool, so I'm glad to finally be here in person.
Welcome, welcome. That could be a nice lesson for everybody out there online.
No guilt now.
Okay, no, that's okay. If you're new this morning, oh, back there, thank you. Yes, we can find a chair too, I think.
Hi, I'm Valerie Atkin. I live in Central Neighborhood and have been here for a few years. Was a UU in Connecticut, so happy to be back. And I'm also on the board of PFLAG, which is the largest national organization in support, advocacy, and education of the LGBTQ community. And we have a friend-raising event here on October 10th at 7. It's an evening of song and spoken word. The flyers on the board, and we'd love to see you all there. And I didn't come just to plug that. I'll be back.
Thank you. Well, you're in the right place. And be sure to make sure it's on the announcements list so that we can be reminded next week. Anybody else? Well, if you're new, please grab a yellow cup after the service. Oh, over here, good.
Popcorn.
Yeah, we do have yellow cups so we can introduce ourselves and get to know you.
Yeah, my name is Guy. This is my very first time here. Big Tigers fan. We're in the playoffs, everybody. I just want to play one bar of a certain song. This is the Tigers have a theme song. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're all behind our baseball team. Go get 'em, Tigers. Always picking up steam. Go get 'em, Tigers.
Well, great. I'll jump ahead to one announcement, which is we have the committee expo after the service, and I don't think music committee's out there, but certainly there'll be plenty of people approaching you to get more life into this. Later in the service, we'll be sharing the joys and concerns from the community. You're welcome to write any joys or concerns over there in the book, and they'll be read a little bit later by a member of our congregational care team. You're also welcome to light a candle for your joy or concern at any point in the service. I just gave the one announcement about the community expos. I also want to thank Pete Batham for the flowers today. He brought them from his yard. They're gorgeous. So thank you, Pete. The Sacred Grounds has their 1-year anniversary. They planted nearly 1,000 native plants here on our grounds, and so visit the table at the expo today to find out more. And there's also some plants to take home. Many people have started native gardens at home. I know we have, and so here's a chance to add to it. The Grove Youth Group kickoff is today from 12 to 2 in the yellow classroom down the hall. Now, all youth are welcome, and pizza is provided. Okay. And there's also starting point classes in October and November. This is a chance to explore the UU history, theology, and your own spiritual journey. See the insert in today's order of service for details on that. And also be sure to check in your order of service for the complete list of announcements for the events coming up. Opportunities for the life of our community. So, today's service deals with the importance of speaking carefully, recognizing that words matter. I'm sure we all have events in our past where we said something that we wish we could say again in a better way, or we carry scars from other people's careless words. This is a topic that's close to me, but more professionally, because I spend a lot of time writing consensus standards for the international community, but in statistics and laboratory sciences. But we have to be really careful with our words. They're translated into almost every language that can be translated. And every document begins with a very carefully stating what we mean by the words can, may, should, and shall. We have to describe these. The concepts are important, and they're debated tirelessly by lots of different writing groups and by assessors in their implementation. But they're small but crucial differences, and something we all need to keep in mind every day, which is why, even the simplest words, say what you mean. So as we begin, I invite you to set aside the busyness of everyday life. Please silence your phones and electronic devices, and we can be fully present with each other. So now, let's worship together.
I think pretty soon we're going to have a music wing. We have a fiddle with us this morning, and we're looking to you to sing along with this wonderful Claudia Schmidt song that we hope starts your day.
And feel free to add all kinds of harmonies and echoes, and it's kind of a repetitive number, just over and over and over again. It only just changes one word on each verse, so it's
in
pretty
your
simple.
Bulletin. The words are in your bulletin. There we go.
And it's right there. All right, you ready?
It's not every church that you're at that you can hear both ukuleles and accordions all in the same morning. So I hope that's a selling point for you. Whoever you are and wherever you are in life's journey, you are welcome here with us this morning. I'm Reverend Alex. I use he and him pronouns. I'm the senior minister here alongside our community minister, Reverend Wendy. And as we settle in this morning, I invite you to just receive these opening words. We gather with words, but words are imperfect vessels. Sometimes they land too heavy. Sometimes they float away unheard. Sometimes they miss the mark entirely. Still, here we are, choosing to speak, choosing to listen, choosing to stay present to one another, even when it's awkward, especially when it's hard. Let this be a space where truth can stumble its way out, where curiosity holds the door open, where courage gives us strength to repair what has been broken. Here among friends, we practice saying what we mean and tending gently to what we don't. So come, let us join in this sacred practice together.
As we light the chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, please join me in reading the words of our mission statement found on the back of your order of service. Grounded in love, we protect the web of life by building beloved community, making good trouble, embodying radical love, and engaging in lifelong learning. And now we sound the singing bowl, entering a time of stillness.
Would you all rise in body or in spirit? Join us in singing our opening hymn today, number 1023 in the Teal hymnal, Building Bridges. You know, many of you are familiar with this being around, and if you're not, don't worry, we'll get through it together. So we'll sing it through a couple of times all together, and then when I gesture to your section, that's when we start the round. And if you think I'm gesturing to you, I am, all right?
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you. Reach out to me with all of our voices and
Well, it's a privilege to sustain a congregation such as this, isn't it? It's not just for today, but for weeks, years, generations to come. Our stewardship honors the predecessors and invests in our children, in one another, and in our wider place in the community. We rely on the generosity and commitment of those who find meaning here. Together, we're strong enough, wise enough, and generous enough to help this beloved community thrive. Today, ushers will pass baskets with two sides. One side supports the life and mission of this congregation. The other supports our needs in the community, including local food programs, shelters, services for those most vulnerable. A portion of the community needs funds are earmarked for social justice work in our region. Our offerings truly reflect our shared UU values. You can also give by the options shown on the screen here. If you give by check or online, please note in the comment field whether your gift is for your pledge, for community needs, or for a special collection. This helps us ensure your gift is used exactly as you intend. Every gift, large or small, is received with deep gratitude. May we give in love and hope, and may our offerings today sustain the life and mission of the congregation for the good we do beyond these walls. We now gratefully receive this morning's offering.
It is our practice as a religious community to set aside time to name and honor the joys and concerns that mark our lives, the milestones and moments of our lived experience. I will be sharing the joys and concerns that have been offered up for us to hold on our hearts today. If you have a joy or a concern that is a bit too heavy to share, I invite you to reach out to Reverend Alex or to a member of the congregational care team. You can identify us by the purple ribbon on our name tags. You can also light a candle at any time during the service or honor your joy or concern during our stone meditation, knowing that you are held in the loving hearts of this community, because no one was ever meant to travel life's journey alone. Here's what has been shared for us today. A joy from Max Oldbear. News from San Antonio, Texas, September 24th, 2025. Baby Charlotte Rose. Parents Sarah and John Clifford. Great-grandpa Max Oldbear. Marie and Emil Priest were laid to rest Saturday, surrounded by family who shared joys and final goodbyes. Concerns from Brian Beamer and Katie Jarvie. For Brian's stepdad, Grant, who was back in the hospital with another intestinal blockage, which is complicating treatment for his kidney cancer. And for Katie, our daughter's good friend and housemate, who was in a precarious state in ICU with pneumonia contracted after starting chemo. And now let's hold a moment of stillness for the concerns and joys that remain in the silence of our hearts.
Friends, now is the time in our service for our stone meditation, a time where if you're feeling moved, you're invited to come forward and take a stone to commemorate the joy or concern that's on your heart. If any of you are so moved, you may come forward. pray with me? Spirit of love, hold us in the spaces between our words. When we falter or wound with what we say, grant us courage to admit it and compassion to begin again. When truth is hard, let us speak it with humility and power. When silence tempts us, let us choose connection instead. May our words, imperfect as they are, become seeds of healing, justice, and love in this world. Amen.
Would you please join us in singing our song of response, Spirit of Life? Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the land, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Our reading this morning is a video. Some words of wisdom by the Reverend Scott Taylor, the founder of Soul Matters, the monthly themes program that we follow here at UUCGT. He invites us to see Unitarian Universalism theology not as doctrines, but as eyeglasses, lenses that help us notice and heal the separation between ourselves, life, and one another through listening deeply, opening to life's gifts, and serving needs greater than our own.
4 minutes for folks. So, all right, so here we go. So, what I always tell newcomers to any church I've served is, if you want to understand UU theology and Unitarian Universalism, you have to get out of the mindset of doctrines and beliefs and instead get into the mindset of eyeglasses and broken hearts. So what do I mean by eyeglasses and broken hearts as a way to understand our UU theology? So let me give you an example by speaking about my daddy. So I'm a preacher's kid. My pop is a Christian minister. He was when I was growing up and still is. And if you talk to my father, what I think you would hear him say in a number of different ways is that he puts on his Christian eyeglasses, right? With the eyeglasses his Christian tradition has given him. When he looks out at the world with those Christian eyeglasses, what pops out for him as if in neon lights is people struggling with sin. And I mean that with huge respect for my father, right? So what he sees, what he notices is people struggling with a sense of having a stain on them maybe, or struggling with a sense of unworthiness, and seeing that has broken his heart. And out of that brokenheartedness, he has given his life to offering the world the gift of forgiveness and God's acceptance. Now, that I honor that as a gift. I don't think my dad is wrong. I don't think his glasses are broken or odd. I just think those are his glasses that help him see the world in a particular way. And I would argue that, as opposed to my father, when I put on my Unitarian Universalist glasses, what pops out for me, and I would argue for all of us, is not so much sin, but separation. So what we notice is not so much people struggling with a sense of unworthiness, but a people struggling with a sense of separation. And I should argue too that I just got notice about a month ago from my doctor that I currently have bifocals. They're telling me I maybe need to think about this thing called trifocals. I don't know if anybody has the trifocals, right? But I would argue that our Unitarian Universalist glasses are trifocals. So they don't make just us see and notice separation. They help us notice separation in three particular ways: separation from ourselves, life, and others. And noticing that, seeing people struggling with separation from self, life, and others, that has broken our hearts. And so our Unitarian Universalist faith has given itself over to the work, we give our lives to the work of offering the world, doing the work of healing spiritual disconnection. We help people reconnect to their inner self, life, and others. And in particular, I would say we do that in three different ways. So you might want to say these are our lifelines or our core theological commitments. We help people listen to their deepest self, open to life's gifts, and serve needs greater than their own: self, life, and others. And you'll notice as I finish this up that you'll notice I couldn't help but use my hands there. So here I want to real quick credit the RE children of First Unitarian Church of Rochester, because as we made this our mission statement to help people listen to their deepest selves, open to life's gifts, and serve needs greater than their own, our kids came up with hand signs. So it's a little bit cheesy, but I guarantee if you memorize these hand signs, you'll have the theology memorized. So listen to your deepest self, onto your heart, open to life's gifts, and serve needs greater than your own.
And thank you all. So you're just such an amazing and wonderful community, the way that we care for each other, especially when things happen. You know, I'm just really grateful that there are so many of us that are here to help whoever's, kind of needing some care right now. But I'm going to trust that. I have a sermon for you if you're still up for hearing it. So raise your hand if you've ever had a misunderstanding before. I should see some more hands up, right? Maybe something that you heard that really wasn't being said, or something that you said that kind of got lost in meaning. Yeah, we've been there before. Misunderstandings are everywhere. And as I often like to do with sermons, I thought I'd start this morning by telling a joke, maybe even a parable, one about the fictional All Souls Unitarian Society of East Springfield. I'll let you imagine the city. All Souls is a large, bustling congregation with many different active teams, groups, and committees. Through their programming and outreach, every year they manage to gain about 20 new members, many of whom are new to the church and the wider community. Well, one of All Souls' famous annual events is the East Springfield Pool Party, one that they hold with many of their sibling churches and congregations. It's a fun time for the whole family. Not too long into the year, All Souls starts up with their prestigious pool party planning panel, known as the 4 Ps by all of their UUers. Things are looking pretty exciting for this year's annual pool party. The 4 Ps have gotten the word out and sent all the invitations to all the new members to be ready for a day of fun, snacks, and refreshing drinks. There is a special note in there to bring some extra pool balls so that we can play together. Soon enough, the day arrives, and East Springfield is lively with excitement and chatter. Every church is talking about it. With the pool party starting at noon, the 4 Ps set up to greet church and community members as they arrive. And a lot of the town is showing up. Yet something seems a little bit off. Some of the new church members show up dressed in floaties and swim shorts. A few kids running through the halls whacking around pool noodles. And of course, there are plenty of these inflatable beach balls that show up with the arriving guests. The 4 Ps stare blankly at each other and back at the guests. All of them just seem pretty puzzled. One of the new members asks, "So where's the swimming pool? I thought this church had a big annual pool party." The 4 Ps' eyes widen, first in shock, but then into a laugh. "Oh," one of the 4 Ps exclaimed, "you thought this was a pool party." Today's actually a billiards tournament. Did you bring any extra sets of balls for pool? Let's get queued up. Oh, you're a hard crowd. Oh. I know it took me a while to get there, but you love my bad jokes. I know you do. Or I'll keep telling myself that so I can sleep at night. Miscommunications are everywhere across our lives, even at UU congregations. We've each had, at some point in our lives, a miscommunication or misunderstanding. And sometimes when this happens, we can fall into saying things we don't mean in the heat of the moment. Speaking out of our hurt, anger, fear, and emotion in ways that we don't always mean. Sometimes we even struggle to find the words we need to express ourselves and our inner thoughts. How hard it can be at times to say fully what we're thinking or feeling, especially when we feel the pressure from ourselves or others to be or show up a certain way. Today we're talking about what happens when the signals get crossed, when what we say sometimes doesn't land as we had hoped, maybe like my joke. Words are imperfect vehicles as much as we love to use them. Any fans of words out there? Yeah. This is so readily apparent in our closest relationships, when we say a word with what we understand it to mean, and the other person gets a totally different picture or idea. And it's not just pool. For me and my husband, Connor, when we notice this happening, we've actually gotten good at stopping ourselves and pausing when it seems like something is off or amiss. Yes, he's my other half, and probably my better half, but we're wired very differently. For example, he can lean more logical at times, where I maybe lean more emotional. We're both very deeply intuitive people. But sometimes those differences can lead to great miscommunications. Ones that we have managed to catch in time, we've actually ended up learning so much about one another. And we haven't always caught them in time. But when we do, we really get to learn a lot. Conversations around, I didn't realize what this word means to you. I meant it this way. Or when you say blank, what do you mean? I don't think I really get it. At the heart of our disconnects is often these misunderstandings and meanings, especially when we're feeling our most vulnerable. Partnerships and deep friendships are some of the most vulnerable connections across our lives. The professor and vulnerability researcher, Brené Brown, who's heard of Brené Brown before? Yeah, that's right. Brené talks a lot about what's at stake in vulnerable relationships. In her view, relationships are about connection. Connection is why we're here as human beings and what gives our lives meaning, gives them purpose. Neurobiologically speaking, we humans are wired for seeking connection. On the flip side of connection is its opposite, disconnection, and all of the fears that come with it. Shame itself, as Brené describes, is actually the fear of disconnection. That there's something about me that if I allow others to see, this will somehow prove me unworthy of love. In her words, to let ourselves be seen, deeply seen, vulnerably seen. To love with our whole hearts, even though there's no guarantee. That's really hard. That's really hard, isn't it? Through vulnerability with one another, we're really asking a series of questions. Can I love you this much? Can I believe this fiercely? Can I be this passionate about this? Will you still love me? Vulnerability takes courage because there's risk there, a risk of allowing ourselves to be wounded, to get hurt. This talk about connection and disconnection as our default wiring as human beings also connects with our reading from the video from Reverend Scott Taylor. What did you think of that video? I hope that you caught enough of it. He really graciously allowed me to play that for you today, and so I send gratitude to Scott for that. So in our reading, he highlights how our UU theology is less about doctrines, creeds, or sin, and more about connection and separation. Interestingly, this is where I get to be the resident seminarian. The original meaning of the word sin from the Hebrew word kata actually means to miss the mark or to fail to be our best selves, which interestingly does actually speak to this disconnection from ourselves, others, and with life. This view of sin being this stain on our souls is a view that came much later, though we see how prevalent it's become across many traditions. So as Scott suggests, we need to see ourselves in our world through our UU glasses, our UU trifocals. Those three aspects of our UU lenses that we can become separated from are self, life, and others. This framework is at the heart of our Soul Matters programs, and the programs complement these disconnects and separations with three essential spiritual practices for Unitarian Universalists, and those are listening deeply to your deepest self, opening yourself to life's gifts, and serving needs greater than your own. And through Soul Matters and all these small groups and meetings, you get to actually practice these skills in community by holding sacred space for listening and sharing. And it's a space where you allow yourself to get vulnerable, to become more fully known, to explore your life's journey and spirituality without judgment, alongside some fellow travelers. Those of you that have already participated in Soul Matters know what I mean when I say that it's a real gift to have the gift of space for silence and sacred listening, and how profound that is. In these groups, they often open and close with silence and allow members to speak and reflect for as long as they feel moved. Reflections, you've ended up actually finding yourself saying things and reflecting on things that you didn't know were in you, or you didn't even know that you needed to hear. Some things that you might not have even put together all on your own. And so if any of you are interested in exploring Soul Matters and what these rich programs have to offer, there are actually a buffet of different group options, from listening groups to creativity groups, approaching the monthly themes through art and crafts, the writing groups, or drop-in style groups like the men's group for all those that identify as male. And so I invite you to visit the Soul Matters table during the committee expo to learn more and see about any current group openings. And I really encourage each of you to look into this. And even if you'd like to journey along without a group, we actually share the same Soul Matters packets in our weekly flash, where there are resources, reflections, and even some guiding questions for you to journey along with. We're always looking for new people who want to start up new groups too, so if that applies to you, just let us know. We've got some resources to get you started on that. These practices are powerful because they help us practice listening to ourselves and to each other, and even actually saying what we mean, what we actually mean. Here at UUCGT, there are still times when our signals can get crossed and miscommunications can happen. We are a congregation of humans, after all. No surprise there. This past week, I saw courageous evidence of both vulnerability and connection at a recent meeting, where we sensed something was off. Somewhere in the midst of this meeting, the energy shifted at the table, and it became clear that not all of us were on the same page, and even that some hurt was caused. What was most profound was the group's courageousness to name what they were feeling, to ask for us all to stop and to speak with open hearts, to actually say what was on our minds and hearts so that we could figure out where this disconnect was. And even though it was hard, and those of you at this meeting know it was hard, our connection was strong enough to take it, and I was so grateful for this moment. It was a moment of celebration for me as a minister and a moment of pride. Rather than picking up our marbles and going someplace else, we deliberately chose to remain at the table. And it's such a powerful expression of our covenant here at church, to be accountable for our feelings and to hold one another in joy and, yes, conflict. It speaks to the health of our congregational culture, that we are able to be vulnerable and honest with one another, even when a topic is difficult. That we remain in the storm. That we even follow up with each other to ask, how are you doing? How did that go for you? Are there any pieces that don't feel finished yet? These lessons in listening, separation, and connection are relevant beyond congregational life. They're essential in our own individual friendships and relationships. To practice UU theology in the world is to practice it across all aspects of our lives. Healing disconnection is not just something we do at church or in groups, but something we also do at home and with each person we meet. In your own lives and relationships, I invite you to notice those times when there are miscommunications and missteps, when you find yourself getting emotionally charged and activated, maybe even saying things harshly that you don't mean. I invite you to pause and listen for your deepest self and what that self is telling you. Then, once you have a handle on what you're feeling, dare to share it vulnerably. Dare to open yourself up to the possibility of getting hurt, something that comes with all vulnerable relationships. You may be surprised to watch how the energy shifts, how someone might not even know what you're experiencing. Being vulnerable in all of our connections is not always possible. Repair itself is not always possible. Sometimes we need to take care with the vulnerability that we share. Some connections and relationships are important for us to keep at a distance for our own safety. And yet, even if it's not always possible, for our relationships that can stand and bear it, our willingness to be honest and real with ourselves and one another is one of our most precious gifts. As Unitarian Universalists, we are a covenant people. We hang together even when the going gets tough. We build our communities to be healthy places of vulnerability, community, and sharing. This is who we are at our best self. We are called to heal separation and disconnection through the ways that we can listen to ourselves, open to life's gifts, and serve needs greater than our own. This is the practice of Unitarian Universalism in the world, but it's also the practice of Unitarian Universalism within you. To close, may we be bold, brave, and courageous in our connections. In the times when we say things we don't really mean, may we be vulnerable enough to name it. When we find ourselves at odds with our deepest friends, partners, and relationships, may we be whole enough to be open-hearted with ourselves and others. We're practicing some really hard things, friends. This UU thing isn't easy, and it's not for everyone. If you came here for an easy faith, I hate to break it to you, this actually takes a lot of work, a lot of hard work. Are you up to it? Are you up to it? Well, you're still alive out there. That's good. I didn't hear anything for a moment. Amen. Let's join now for a brief moment of stillness together.
Will you please rise in body or in spirit, and let's sing together our new hymn of September, We Will Carry Each Other.
I am looking for shelter in a friend. We can build a beginning, but I do not know the end. I am scared of breaking when I bend. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. There are prayers I don't know how to say, but I still find solace when I close getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way.
As an expression of caring one another, will you reach out to your neighbor and either hold their hand, or if you're a person that doesn't like to be touched, we have the symbol of please do not touch me, and you may outstretch your arms and join us as Dan offers some releasing words.
Words cannot fully describe the light of the chalice and the message that it burned for today. We can release the flame now, but we shall retain its message.
And in the spirit of covenant, community, and commitment, may we be made ready to serve one another and create the world we so desperately dream of. Go in peace, everyone. Pass a little squeeze or an air 5. And join us for the expo.